Today we are multiplying rational numbers. Remember, when we multiply fractions, we just multiply the numerator and multiply the denominator. So the hardest part about this is just remembering your integer rules. Okay? Remember, when we have multiplication and division, we have a happy times a happy, so same signs, we get happy. Okay? If a bad thing happens to a bad person, that is also a good thing. Okay? Now, if we have a good thing happens to a bad person, that's sad. Okay? If a bad thing happens to a good person, that is also sad. Okay? So opposite signs is a negative, same signs is a positive. All right, when you're doing these. All right, so for this one, we have a negative times a negative, so that's going to give me a positive solution. 1 times 3 is 3. 4 times 5 is 20. Answer is positive. 3/20 does not simplify. That is your answer. Okay, negative times a positive, so opposite signs, negative is going to be my solution. 3 times 2 is 6. 4 times 3 is 12. This does simplify to be negative 1/2 to be my solution. Okay, if we have mixed numbers, I recommend you turn those into improper fractions first. Again, opposite sign, so my solution is going to be negative. Let's go ahead and turn these into improper fractions. 1 times 9 is 9, plus 5 is 14/9, times 3 times 5 is 15, plus 2 is 17, so we get negative 17/5. Okay, and we are going to multiply the top, multiply the bottom. 14 times 17 is 238. 9 times 5 is 45. Simplify these, and it does not simplify, so that negative is your solution because a negative times a positive is a negative. Okay, again, same thing here. 1 3/10. 1 times 10 is 10, plus 3 is 13/10 times negative. 8 times 8 is 64, plus 5 is 69/8. Negative times a positive is a negative. Okay, we get 13 times 69 equals 897. 10 times 8 is 80. And that is your solution. Okay, I'll let you try a couple of those on your own down below. You may use a calculator to help you with your multiplication and your conversions there. Okay, now in this one we have a fraction and a decimal. Okay, so I would write your decimals as a fraction. Okay, turn your decimals into fraction because it's a lot easier to multiply fractions than it is decimals, in my opinion. If you prefer decimals, by all means, turn them all into decimals. Okay, now this first fraction here, negative 1/3, is a repeating decimal, so that one you could not multiply or turn into a decimal and then multiply easily. Okay, so we're going to have negative 1/3 times positive 3 3/10. Okay, which is going to be 33/10. Okay, multiply across the top, multiply across the bottom. I get 33/30. And again, that is negative. And this does simplify to be negative 11/10. Same thing here. We have 4/5 times negative, and then 4 3/4. Okay, turn that into an improper fraction. 4 times 4 is 16, plus 3 is 19. So I have 4/5 times negative 19/4. 4 times 19 is 76. 5 times 4 is 20. And it's negative because I have a positive times a negative. And 4 goes into both of these. So I am going to get 19 over 5. And again, don't forget to keep your negative. So negative 19/5. And I'll let you try number 12 on your own. In the last one, we are evaluating. So we are substituting the values they give us for each of the variables into the problem. So we have 1/2 times x, and x is negative 1/3, so negative 1/3 times y, and y is positive 4/5. 4/5. And notice I'm writing them in parentheses. That will show the separation between them and easily show the multiplication so you don't mix up your dots and your negatives and all that. Okay, so parentheses are helpful for that. So again, still multiply across the top, multiply across the bottom. 1 times 1 is 1, times 4 is 4, 2 times 3 is 6, 6 times 5 is 30. This does simplify to 2/15. Now let's pay attention to our signs. We have positive times a negative is a negative. A negative times a positive is a negative. So this is going to be negative 2/15. All right, and you can try 14 and 15 on your own. All right, and the last more difficult type of problem is where we have 3 variables and we are substituting in some decimals and some fraction combos. So we have 5/6 times a, which is negative 2.8, times b, which is 0.4, and c, which is 3 3/4. So again, turning these all into the same type of number, as in fraction or decimal, I'm going to choose a fraction again, okay? And I have 5/6, and then I have 2 8/10, which is going to be 28/10, so negative 28/10, okay, times 4/10, and 4 times, or 3 times 4 is 12, plus 3 is 15/4. Okay, multiply across the top, multiply across the bottom. 5 times 28 times 4 times 15 equals, yikes, 8,400 over 6 times 10 is 60, times 10 is 600, times 4 is 2,400, 8,400 divided by 2,400 simplifies to, well, 84 over 24. And then that can simplify to 7 over 2. Okay, and then let's take a look at our signs. We have a positive times a negative is a negative. A negative times a positive is a negative. And then a negative times a positive again would be another negative. So my solution is also negative. So I get negative 7 over 2. And that is our solution. You can try 17 on your own.